Brandon Lowe has been everything the Pirates could have possibly hoped he was going to be whenever they made that big three-team deal this winter. His 21 home runs are the second most ever for a Pittsburgh Pirates second baseman, and considering that Neil Walker holds that record in 23, that's going to break either by the end of the month or, hey, maybe even before the All-Star game. He is one of three players in the National League, alongside James Wood and Matt Olson, to have 20 homers and 20 doubles. He is leading his position in home runs and RBI. He is doing everything the Pirates wanted him to do. He's not going to go to Philadelphia for the All-Star game. And while he may not get the recognition of being one of the game's top second basemen right now, he very well could go down as having the greatest season ever for a Pirates second baseman. Good morning, and welcome to OffBeat here on North Shore 9, presented by FanDuel. My name is Alex Stumpf, and this is a daily look at your Pittsburgh Pirates. Hope you all had a healthy, fun, safe 4th of July weekend. Brandon Lowe hit his 21st home run of the season on Sunday. And while Connor Griffin had just given the Pirates the lead before, late in the game with a base hit, that was still very much a ball game. That was one of those moments that even though the Pirates had the lead, just knowing where they were with the bullpen and the bullpen in general this year, that game felt far from guaranteed. Until Brandon Lowe gets a hold of one, home run number 21, Pirates end up winning, and it might have been the biggest win of the year for them. Not because, oh, wow, it was a statement win or anything, but because it means they have the tiebreaker over the Nationals, who are very much in that wild card race too. There are no Game 163s anymore. You have to have better records than your opponents. That's a big tiebreaker. If it comes down to that, could be one of the more consequential home runs of the year, of the season. The day beforehand, he was told he was not on the All-Star team. The Pirates are only going to be sending Paul Skeens, and I don't want to dog on the selection process or anyone who does get named to be an All-Star, because at the end of the day, it is an exhibition and it is an honor. We talked about this in an earlier podcast. This is the number 2 offense in baseball in terms of OPS coming into the game, and Bryan Reynolds and Brandon Lowe are not on the team. Even though both of them, according to Baseball Reference, had more WAR, or at least the same amount of WAR, as 2/3 of the field. Of the National League position player All-Stars, both of them have more WAR than 2/3 of that roster. So it's not like you really have to squint to see how they would fit in. No, very legitimate case for both of them. And there's still hope that they could get an invitation late. Because while it's usually pitchers who are the late scratches because they pitch on the Sunday beforehand, or, they just need the breather so they can rest for the second half of the year, there are some position players who either get hurt or just back out. Like we saw Vladimir Guerrero Jr. announced that he is not going to participate because he wanted to get right for the second half of the season. So that does offer a glimmer of hope that they could get the recognition that they both deserve. They both deserve to be All-Stars, in my opinion. I feel a lot better about Bryan Reynolds' chances than Brandon Lowe's, because Bryan Reynolds is someone who has more of a pedigree in Pittsburgh. He has been a 2-time All-Star here before. The outfield, surprisingly, is less crowded than second base, because Ketel Marte is not an All-Star, and Xavier Edwards is not an All-Star, and J.J. Weatherholt is not an All-Star. Now, we could compare Lowe to all four, and if your opinion is that Brandon Lowe is the best out of that 4, or just in general, Brandon Lowe is the best second baseman in the National League, I think you have a very legitimate claim there. But it's close. I use WAR as an example, but at the end of the day, this is the analytics guy saying this. It's not the ultimate be-all, end-all discussions right there. This player is better because he is .1 WAR higher. Like, that's not how you use the stat. That's not how you should use any analytic, really. So I get that. Who has made a bigger impact for their team than Brandon Lowe? Now, granted, for Brandon Lowe, we know how big an impact he's had because we saw what happened last year. We just saw how that infield offense did not produce last year. And then whenever you bring in Brandon Lowe, who has been one of the greatest power hitters, for an infielder we have seen in a long, long time, yeah, you could see how this offensive turnaround, he's one of the catalysts of it. I mean, 21 home runs, a little over halfway through the season. He's got a shot at 40. I don't think he'll make 40, but he's got a legitimate chance if he stays healthy. And no Pirate has hit 40 since Willie Stargell. It has been a minute and a half since the Pirates have had offensive production coming anywhere like this, let alone second base. I think a lot of years, 9 years out of 10, he would have been a no-brainer. Just put him in the All-Star game. It's a crowded field. And that's working against him here. I think this offense, which has been terrific this year, deserves to have a hitter represent them. And if I was to pick, I think I would pick Lowe. Like, whenever the Pirates did that video that they posted on social media where they asked all the pitchers, and like, who is your All-Star vote? It was always Horowitz and Lowe, and it was mostly Lowe. He has been the guy driving this offense right now, especially with Oneil Cruz on the shelf. We don't know exactly when we'll see him back in the lineup. Ben Cherington said on his radio show Sunday that it could be, July, but it would be after the All-Star break. Horowitz has been a big part of it, but we have still seen the offense produce without him. It's been Lowe, Reynolds. Those have been the two. And it would have been great to send one of them to Philadelphia. Maybe there's hope, but I really only see the hope for Bryan Reynolds at this point. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe Brandon Lowe, if there is an opening, does get that first nod. But it's a much more crowded field, in my opinion, for second base, especially since there could have been any outfielder who, backs out for Bryan Reynolds. Here, it would have to be another infielder, probably another second baseman, and I'm just not too optimistic. So he's not going to get the yearly recognition. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk about where this season could potentially land in Pirates history.
This episode is brought to you by IQ Bar, our exclusive snack hydration sponsor. IQ Bar protein bars, IQ Mix hydration mixes, and IQ Joe mushroom coffees are the delicious, low-sugar, brain and body fuel you need to win your day. The Ultimate Sampler Pack is a great way for you to try all IQ Bar products and flavors. You get 9 IQ bars, 8 IQ Mix sticks, and 4 IQ Joe sticks. All IQ Bar products are clean label certified and entirely free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial ingredients. With over 20,000 5-star reviews and counting, more people than ever are fueling their lifestyles with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. The Ultimate Sampler Pack includes all 3. My personal favorites so far have been the almond butter chip and the iced tea lemonade hydration mix. It's just really full of flavor. I love starting my day with it, and I couldn't imagine starting my day with anything else other than IQ Bar products. Right now, IQ Bar is offering our podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, including the Ultimate Sampler Pack, plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text MLB to 64,000. That's MLB 64000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details.
So whenever you talk about the greatest offensive seasons in Pirate season for a Pirate second baseman, or just greatest seasons in general for a Pirate second baseman, I think there are 3 legitimate claims. And yeah, I did go into StatHead and I did just pull up who played 50% of their games at second base and what's WAR. But I think that's a good way to just come up with some candidates. And 3 players are within 0.4 WAR of each other, so you can make a legitimate claim for it, either one of these 3. There's Johnny Ray in 1983, who was worth 5.1 WAR. You've got Reddy Stennett in 1975 with 4.9 WAR, and you got Bill Mazeroski in 1958 with 4.7 WAR. Brandon Lowe is at 3 WAR, a little over the season. If he continues this pace, he will have the highest WAR of any Pirates second baseman. And that's good by itself. But, like, I look at these seasons, and one of the things that really sticks out to me, their OPS. Johnny Ray, 722 OPS. Rennie Stennett, 707. Bill Mazeroski, 747. Going by OPS plus, which weighs the era that they're playing in, it was 97, 98, 97. They were average hitters who were buoyed by elite defense. That's what it was. They played their position very well. It was a position that was weighed heavily, and they were average hitters and great defenders. We really haven't seen a season like Brandon Lowe's before for a Pirates second baseman, outside of the year where Neil Walker won the Silver Slugger. Like, we talked about the home runs. Lowe's 2 home runs away. Hey, the next time I do a podcast from PNC Park, there's a chance he could have tied or broken that. It's within the realm of possibility. In those years where we're talking about, hey, who are the second basemen who have the best WAR for a Pirates season, it's Rennie Stennett with 25 doubles and Bill Mazeroski with 24 doubles. That's what Brandon Lowe's at right now. And you could say, well, okay, he's just offensively driven. He's not actually producing. No, he's also been really good defensively. 7 outs above average on defense. 8 defensive runs saved. He is in the mix of being like a top 5 defensive second baseman. He could end the year a nominee for Silver Slugger and Gold Glove, which the nominees for those is a new development, but hasn't happened for a Pirate second baseman. Hasn't happened for a Pirate infielder in the same year. Like, this is everything the Pirates could have hoped whenever they went into this winter, knowing they had to get more offense, knowing they had to get more power, they needed to get more left-handed power. Bang. Teams in markets like Pittsburgh don't acquire second basemen who are going to hit 35, 40 homers in a season. This is an incredible campaign. And then the defensive turnaround, he was optimistic that he was going to do much better defensively. He was dealing with some injury last year, but he was graded as one of the worst defensive players last year, and now he's one of the best at his position. This is the impact that they needed. And I know we talked about a month or so ago about people worrying about, will he get extended? What's his future with the team? Enjoy the ride now. Because at this moment, the Pirates just went on the road and they took 2 out of 3 against a team that's going to be in the mix for that wild card. They're in the mix for the postseason at the halfway point. And if they could just keep their head above water and compete and stay 500 until the trade deadline, acquire some relievers, they've got a very legitimate path to October. They needed someone like Brandon Lowe to help facilitate that. So while it's a shame that he won't be amongst his peers in Philadelphia most likely, and that he, odds are, probably won't be an all-star or recognized as such, he is a big reason why this Pirates team is where they are right now. Thank you so much for listening to OffBeat here on North Shore 9, presented by FanDuel. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe wherever you find podcasts, or check us out on YouTube if you want to see my smiling face. Thank you so much for listening. We'll talk again tomorrow.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in, whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube. If you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucs.